Greetings, this is Dave with Ham Radio Test and Review. My call sign is N8DAV, and I have my name in my call sign. I live in Flagstaff, Arizona, and my motto for my channel is, one test is worth 1,000 expert opinions. I've been doing, and starting on here recently, a complete set of dual channel HT antennas. I have a ton of these things. So this is going to take quite a while to get through them all. So if you have a particular HT antenna that you would like me to test, please put it in the comments so I can either move it up on the list and do it sooner, or I can go out and buy it so I can get it done for you, okay? I would really appreciate that. So today's antenna is the Diamond RH-519. So I will be right back with all the specifications and all the tests. I'll be right back. Today's antenna test is for the Diamond RH-519 antenna. Now, this antenna is a dual band for the 2 meter, 70 centimeter bands. It is 7 3/4 inches long in length. It's a rubberized type whip. It has, in this particular case, the BNC connector. I try to standardize on BNCs for all my HTs. It is specified by Diamond as being a 50 ohm antenna with an SWR of 1.5 to 1 or less. Maximum power capacity is 10 watts. It's supposed to have plus, not just 3.0 dBi gain, but plus 3.0 dBi gain. They do not specify if it's any particular wavelength or if it's resonant on any frequency, which obviously is 7 3/4 inches not going to be. The last thing that I have to tell you is that it does not come with a rubber grommet like the SMA connectors do, and I paid $28.95 for it. Now, that's on Amazon, but now I've been finding it for $24.99. So back when I bought it, it was a little bit higher, and now it's a little bit less. I know this is a lot for an antenna. Some Diamond antennas are absolutely worth the money, some are not. So let's get into the testing, and we'll find out if this antenna is truly worth the $24.99 price. I'll be right back. I want to show you the antenna. Here's the antenna in its entirety. As you can see, it's got the nice blue lettering at the bottom and the BNC connector. It's only 7 3/4 inches long. As you can see, it's pretty flexible. It's a very light antenna as well. It's not a heavy diameter, a large diameter antenna. It's very, very small. So I'm sure most of the loading is in here in the base, which makes it a compromised antenna. However, some compromised antennas do fairly well. So we'll have to see when I get to the testing. And I also wanted to show you the packaging. Now, again, I bought this off of Amazon, and you're probably going to see this backwards now. It's in Japanese. Most of the packaging is in Japanese, also the writing. That's because a lot of these sellers on Amazon, they buy up large quantities of things in Japan that are not selling, or maybe from Diamond that brings them back after they don't sell. And so they will put them out on the market and try to flood the market, whatever they do with them. Anyway, I bought it off of Amazon. I paid probably a lot of money for it, but some Diamond antennas are worth the money, so we'll see. We'll have to just see. I've run into some Diamond antennas that are not worth the money, believe me. Anyway, don't be surprised. It's probably from the Japanese market. Like I said, it's got all this Japanese writing on it, so I'm assuming that it's one of these antennas from the Japanese market. Works just the same, covers all the same frequencies, so no problems with that. Anyway, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back to run the first of our SWR tests using the power SWR meter. As all of you know, I use the power SWR meter to get a good idea, a general idea of what an antenna is doing. But for my test bed, I always use a signal stick and make sure I get an SWR of 1.1 or 1.2 or less, and in some cases 1.0, to make sure that I get that with the signal stick before I test any other antennas. I use this as a baseline to make sure my test bed is working correctly. So I've done that, and I've got my baseline. So now I have the Diamond RH-519 on the test bed, ready to be tested on the 2 meter band. and we get an SWR of 1.47. Now on the 70 centimeter band, I'm going to run the SWR test, and we come up with an SWR of 1.04 to 1. And for all of my GMRS fans out there, I'm going to run the same power SWR meter test on GMRS channel 16, and we come out with 1.05 to 1. All right, as I always do, I use my NanoVNA to verify the results of the power SWR meter. I do this because I feel that sometimes power SWR meters can be like fooled or tricked into either good or bad results. And the NanoVNA is going to give us a little bit more accurate results, I believe. However, I do like to use both because the power SWR meter gives you a general idea what the SWR is, where the NanoVNA gives you an almost exact idea what the SWR is. So I'm going to turn it on. It'll come on to the 2 meter automatically. And as you see, we are scanning and sweeping. And we have come up with, now I want to do this on the same frequency as I did the power SWR meter, which is 146.52. So we're going to go to 146.52. And we come up with an SWR of 2.000 with an impedance of 43.43. However, I think we should at least see how low the SWR is at midpoint of the band. This is between 144 and 148 megahertz. That's 1.829, and at the lowest point, we get 1.706. So really not bad at the low end of the band and in the center of the band. As you get up to the higher side of the band, then you start getting a little bit worse, but still acceptable for an HT antenna. All right, next we're going to test on the 70 centimeter band. Stop the sweep. And let's take a look at what we got. Normally, again, I'd like to test apples to apples, so we're going to look at this on the 446 megahertz frequency, because that's where I tested it before using the power SWR meter, and we come up with an SWR of 1.412 and an impedance of 66.33 ohms. So let's just take a look at the center of the band just to get a basic idea. And that SWR is 1.34, and at its lowest point, we got 1.16. So once again, excellent results for an HT antenna. And last but not least, I'm going to test on the GMRS band for all of you GMRS fans out there. And we come up with on the same frequency that we tested on the power SWR meter, we got a SWR of 1.695 and an impedance of 43.09. And let's just see what it looks like on the center of the band, which looks like to be the lowest part, 1.682. So I think we're looking pretty good here. All right, next up, we have our series of field strength meter tests. I do the field strength meter tests at a prescribed distance on high power of using my Baofeng UV-17 Pro GPS, using the Diamond RH-519 antenna, just to get an idea of how strong the strength of the transmission is using this particular antenna. And then what I do is I'll come back at the end of the video and round up and summarize everything for you compared to all the other antennas I've tested. So here we go with the test. So let's see what this first test comes out to be. Okay, that's on the 70 centimeter band. Field strength test on GMRS channel 16. And I will come back at the end of the video and I'll summarize all the field strength test readings for you and compare them to other antennas I've tested them with. I'll be right back and we will start doing some real world field strength testing. So I'll be right back. All right, I got too much wind noise to really get any really good information. However, the antenna does get out to my repeater and it does get back to me. So that's a sign that the antenna is working and working okay. But with all this wind, I can't tell how the modulation really is because it's all the wind noise is getting in the way. So I don't know what else I can do except for maybe come back on another day and do the test. So that's what I may do. Well, as it turns out, I tried testing inside my truck, which is not a very good test because this truck is more like a Faraday cage than it is a good transmission enhancing type of utility vehicle. But I was actually able to get out and hit my repeater. So let me try hitting it in from inside my truck here and see if I can repeat that test again. This is WSBX 662 testing 1, 2, 3, 4. WSBX 662 testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we got some static, a lot of static, but at least I'm not getting all that wind noise. So we know that the my SUV here is a bit of a Faraday cage blocking some of that signal. But the fact is, I am 2.6 to 3.0 miles away from my base station with the repeater on it. And from inside my SUV, I can get out. And of course, I don't have any wind noise to contend with. So I'm going to go ahead and call this test pretty good for this antenna, because for it to be able to get out from inside my truck and be able to receive from inside my truck, I think is a pretty good test actually. So I would rather have done it the exact same place and location that I normally do it, but unfortunately beggars can't be choosers today. So I'm going to call this a complete test. I'm going to say that the antenna did okay with plenty of static, but under these conditions, I would say that's probably a good test. So anyway, next time you see me, I'll be inside my shack, not outside my shack out in the rain. And I'll give you my thoughts and all the results of all the tests. I'll be right back. So what did we learn from everything today? Well, on the power SWR meter readings, on 2 meter, we got 1.47, 70 centimeter, 1.04, and GMRS 1.05. That's excellent. Excellent numbers. I don't think there's been an antenna that I've tested that was much better than that. Really, as far as SWR is concerned, that looked really good. However, when we get to the testing, the verification using the NanoVNA, we came out with 2 meter, 2.0, 1.412 on 70 centimeter, and 1.695 on GMRS. So the NanoVNA basically backs up all the same readings that we had on the power SWR meter, because the NanoVNA always reads about a half 0.5 SWR higher than the power SWR meter. In this particular case, the GMRS was a little bit higher, but since the antenna is not rated for GMRS, I don't usually take that into consideration. On the field strength meter testing, this is rather interesting. On the 2 meter, we got a minus 2.3 dBi. And according to some of the other tests that I've run, this was second best, but not the best. Actually, the TID radio RH-519 bested it as far as field strength was concerned on the 2 meter band. Now on the 70 centimeter band, minus 1.6, and this was actually, again, second place, but pretty darn good. I mean, that's an excellent number compared to a lot of the other antennas that I've tested. And then on the GMRS is where it really shined, and that was a plus 1.8 dBi. And I have to tell you, that pretty much tied the TID radio RH-771 for the field strength testing. So overall, for a 7.75 or 7.75 inch long antenna, the field strength meter readings were just very good, excellent. So far we've got good SWR and we've got good field strength readings. So what about the real world field strength good modulation testing? And I have to say that, I was out in the rain, I was out in 20, 30 mile an hour winds. It was very, very tough to get a good test out of that. So for some reason, I decided to try testing from inside of my truck. And I was able to hit the repeater inside my truck. I had trouble hitting the repeater outside my truck in all that wind. So I have to tell you, in order for a small antenna like this to be able to get to my repeater and get back, even though there was a fair amount of static, I think was a real testament to how good the antenna gets out. Because basically when you're inside of a truck, you're inside of a Faraday cage, and the signal should, by all intents and purposes, be blocked. So in order to get the 2.6 to 3.0 miles to my repeater and for the repeater to get back, and even though there was a fair amount of static, still sounded pretty darn good. I could understand everything very clear. So I would call that a fair test. I have a feeling that if I was able to get to my regular spot without any of the wind and rain and everything else, I probably would have gotten a fair to good, if not a good test out of it. I'm going to call this fair, even though actually, to me, it's a good test, but I want to be fair. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say about it. I think as far as a 7 3/4 inch antenna goes, it stands up with the 15, 16, and 17 and 18 inch long antennas, including the signal stick. I think it stands pretty much toe to toe with those antennas. For $24.95, it should, it should be a good antenna. But I was actually rather surprised. The SWR on it was excellent, even though it's still a compromised antenna. Still, all very, very excellent tests throughout the entire testing procedure. So I would say if you really want a good 7 3/4 inch long antenna, this is a good one. Is it going to perform better than the Nagoyas and the signal sticks and things like that? No, it won't. It will not perform better. So if you're looking for a cheap antenna, get one of those. But if you're looking for a good quality 7 3/4 inch long antenna, this is outstanding. I really think this is a good antenna. So anyway, that's all I have to say. If you like my content, please, 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 please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, so I can get to be a YouTube associate or affiliate or whatever it is that they call you, partner. I think it's called a partner. It's not really a goal per se, but it would be nice if I got a little bit of money to help fund the channel, because I'm spending, this whole thing is all funded by me. So it would be nice if I got a little help on that. Anyway, so if you do, please subscribe and ring the bell. Hit that bell icon so you can get warnings of all my content that's coming out, and notifications besides the warnings, because maybe you don't want to see my content. Anyway, my name is Dave. I live in Flagstaff, Arizona. My call sign is N8DAV. My motto is one test is worth 1,000 expert opinions, saying 73s and so long.